when you have Werner von Braun going down to Antarctica as a space program is created as a result of Project Paperclip, all these Nazis create this our space program, and von Braun's down there picking up rocks from Antarctica.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about this.
And you're like, well, was he picking those up to show people later that would be what the astronauts present as moon rock?
Well, sure, they had to come from somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and if we didn't go to the moon, where did they come from?
There you go.
So you got all that, and then you got Van Allen saying, hey...
Who was a NASA employee,
right, saying, wow, there's this really intense radiation dome or band or whatever you want to say surrounding the Earth. And so my first thought was, okay, if there's really this intense radiation band up there, why are you blowing off more radiation if you've got already this intense band of radiation? You're blowing off nuclear bombs, presumably this side of that band of radiation. All you're doing is creating another band of radiation going around.
Yeah.
So you're intensifying the radiation.
Excuse me, sir. I think we have a bit of a radiation problem. What do you think we should do about it?
Let's throw a whole bunch of nukes at it!
I don't think that's such a great... Fire away!
Nike Hercules. Stripey XM33. 4.
Problem solved the American way.
And when you realize that the new program that they're working on right now is called Project Orion, if you go on YouTube and just look up Project Orion plus radiation, you'll see NASA videos where engineers are talking about how they're spending tons of time and money and effort to figure out the radiation problem, to make sure that astronauts are protected.
We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. For this flight, it's time to head home.
We don't have the ultimate answer for radiation on Orion. We're still working on that. If we were to build Orion out of the materials we need and the sole job was to protect for the radiation environment, the vehicle would really be too heavy. So we have to balance the weight of the materials that we put on the spacecraft with how much protection it's providing the crew. So we're really looking at it from an operational perspective. If we understand a radiation event has happened, the crew will actually take shelter in the aft bay of the vehicle. We have found over the years that water is a really great radiation absorbing material. So we could do things like water that's already there in the water bags for drinking and things like that. That water could be used to shield them. As well as we've had some concepts like a water-filled vest that they could put on should they know there's an event and need to be protected.
We don't have a clue when it comes to how to protect them from radiation, so we're gonna just put them up there in water suits. Yeah, we like water suits, and if we put water all around them, so the radiation could go into the water, and then they could drink it, and it could be like a Fantastic Four. Everybody they'll come back and be mutants when they get back. But we just got some ideas, yeah. But don't worry about it. Yeah, I know there are refugees everywhere, and people are starving and stuff, and we have homeless all over the place. But if we spend a few $1 trillion, I think we should be able to figure out how to make water suits for the astronauts in space, and then maybe it'll work out like it did for the guys in Apollo.
You're like going, wait a minute, what happened to the radiation problem 50 years ago when you went to the moon 6 times?
In a tin can with jumpsuits.
Yeah. Not only did nobody die from radiation poisoning, nobody got radiation sickness.
Or cancer.
No long-term effects, and the capsules should have been completely contaminated by that point. And yet, they're sitting down in the Air and Space Museum, there isn't a trace of anything. That Van Allen belt was absolutely, it seemed like a good idea at the time for NASA, but it absolutely backfired because they didn't know. They had 10 years to figure out the radiation problem, and the only way to solve it, even today, is lead shielding. And they said, well, we can't put that much lead on top of the rocket. It's never going to work.
Yeah.
And so they just sent them anyway with no shielding and, think, well, no one's going to really notice. And then the internet came out and, well, that ruined everything.
Well, yeah. Supposedly it was no big deal. I've seen videos where people have asked the astronauts, what about did you experience anything weird or anything going through the radiation belts? And the astronauts act like they don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you're like, really?
I don't know the distance to the Van Allen radiation belt. And if we did, it wasn't a problem. If we were going to encounter it, then we would have had to build the spacecraft and the spacesuit to not give humans a problem.
That's military intelligence. Abolish NASA!
Hey Karen, being the current queen of Flat Earth, it must be hard to find Flat Earth friends. Do you know an easy way to find cool people like yourself and solid info about our stationary, horizontal level plane?
Why, yes, that would be the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app.
It's the perfect gift for friends, family, and complete strangers. Watch the featured video every day for 2 weeks and see what happens. It'll be the best $2.99 you've ever spent.